Hi, Verl Workman here, and welcome to Workman Wisdom. Today we're going to talk about operational excellence, but more important than operational excellence, we're going to talk about when is it time to hire the right assistant. I've always said that if you don't have an assistant, then you are one. And what do I mean by that? I mean, why would I say something like that? Do you think it's meant to be offensive? Because it certainly isn't. Matter of fact, I'm going to tell you right now that our assistants in this business are golden. They're the most critical piece of our team because they allow us as real estate agents to do the things that give us the highest return for our time investment. So when is it time to hire an assistant? What do I have an assistant do? I like to say that we first have to create great systems, and then we put assistants in place to follow those systems. Now, as a real estate agent, what you'll do is you'll go out and you'll start doing your business the way you always do. You'll get a client under contract, and then you'll just kind of create your check sheet, and you'll get up every day and make sure you get everything done. While that allows you to have your fingers in every part of the transaction, what it also creates is it creates opportunity for failure. You think that your clients hired you because you're going to do all of the work and give them a great experience. The reality is they hired you because they believed you were going to help their house close, and you were going to do it while protecting their interests. So my question to you is this: if you don't follow up with a potential buyer from one transaction because you're doing paperwork for another one, which client are you letting down? My job and my gut says that if you don't have an assistant, that there are probably things falling through the cracks. And when you're ready to become self-aware and make the decision, you know what, maybe Verl's right on this. Maybe it's time that I create operational excellence in my business. If I were to start all over in real estate, if you said, Verl, when should I get an assistant? Let me tell you the real truth on that. I would start day one. Day one, when I got licensed, I would put my license either with a team or with an office or a company that provides administrative help, because I don't ever want to be in the business of being an administrative assistant. I want someone who loves the process. I want someone who can't go to bed at night if their checklist isn't done. I want someone who loves talking to my clients and making sure that we follow up and makes me look better than I really am. And so if that's not going to be me, then I'm going to outsource it. Now, a lot of agents will say, well, I can't really hire an assistant because I don't have any money. And so there's lots of different ways to do it. You can pay a per transaction fee, a per transaction fee looks something like this. You might pay $200 to $300 per closing. Now, when you get something under contract, if it doesn't close, they don't get paid the transaction fee. If it does, then they get paid their money. So when you're making money, your transaction coordinator makes money. Another thing you could do is you could pay a low hourly rate, or you could borrow another agent's transaction coordinator or client care coordinator to have them help you with the process. The key is that you first create the system that you want followed, then you put somebody in place to do it. If you've got money, then I would immediately jump in and hire an assistant that would work for me part-time and then move them to full-time as they continue to grow. I like to call this person that my first hire a client care coordinator. The CCC stands for client care coordinator. The reason I call it a client care coordinator is because their job, when clearly defined, is to do everything and anything that has to do with the care of my clients. And that has to do with following up with leads. It has to do everything they can do as an unlicensed person that's legal and ethical. Now, if they're a licensed client care coordinator, obviously they can do more tasks. One of the key things when you're looking at hiring someone is that you have to have clearly defined roles and clearly defined responsibilities associated with that position. If you're one of our coaching clients watching this blog and you know it's time to hire a client care coordinator, you simply ask your coach for the hiring process for a client care coordinator. They'll give you all the documents, how to hire, what disc profile we look for, the onboarding process, and then once they come on board, then you're going to put them into what program? You're going to put them into AMP. If you're an agent looking to create operational excellence, you can't quite afford to hire a client care coordinator, then you need to go through the AMP program. Once you start in the AMP program, we're going to take you through the process of creating that operational excellence. I just want to give you a couple of examples here of what it looks like when you have operational excellence in your business. So there's the white check sheet, and then there's the automated format. Now you're gonna have a hard time seeing this, and it's not that I want you to see all the details, it's that I want you to see the scope of a plan. So when I have a buyer, the buyer makes an offer on a property, the offer gets accepted, there's a whole series of activities that happen every single time. What you're seeing here is, this is a buyer under contract action plan. Now, following the transaction management system that we teach in the AMP program, we launch this program in Top Producer or in your real estate contact management system. I have a graphic that demonstrates that. So what happens is it goes under contract. So the agent goes out, they work with the buyer. The buyer says, I want to write an offer. It goes under contract. Once the contract is executed, we then give it to who? Our client care coordinator, who then launches the plan. And then all of these activities, all of this follow-up, all of these to-dos are then scheduled in relationship to the contract date and the closing date. And it happens as it should. The same thing happens when I have a seller. So now this is an example of a listing, and you look at the pages here. This is a lot of detail. So I know you're not seeing all the details right there, but this is an example of a current active listing plan. So I've got the property listed, a buyer comes in and makes an offer, the offer gets accepted, now what? Well, I don't want to staple this on the inside of my white manila folder, because then every day I have to come in and look through all the folders. What I want to do is I want to get up every day, I want to click on my Top Producer, if you're using Top Producer or your contact management system, and I want to click on today's business. It then gives me all my listing activities, my buyer activities. I click on listing activities or closing activities, and then it gives me a list of all the activities for all of my files that need to be done. And so the client care coordinator can go through and go click, 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 do the activities, mark them as being done, and then it creates a report for my seller. Now, when you have your business automated at that level, not only do you have operational excellence, nothing falls through the cracks. Your job as the CEO of the company isn't to do the tasks. Your job is to oversee that all the tasks get done. Then it goes into the pending process, there's an action plan for pending, and then it closes the transaction. And then we have a whole series of follow-ups plans or action plans that happen after the client closes. You can go into Top Producer, and they actually have a plan called the 10-year follow-up plan, and you can just launch the 10-year follow-up plan. Then for the next 10 years, they're gonna get some kind of a touch from you every single month. Now, they say that the majority of our clients are happy after the transaction. I'm going to say that 78% of clients, when surveyed, say they love their agent and they would use them again, yet only 11% do. The reason isn't because we didn't do a good job. The reason is because we didn't follow the transaction management system for before, during, and after the transaction to stay at the front of the mind of that client through the life cycle of that customer. Remember, operational excellence means if you aren't an assistant, if you don't have an assistant, you are one. Put systems in place, then assistants in place. You don't have to have a lot of money to hire someone. You can hire somebody day one, and then follow a proven plan. My message to you is simply this. This month, I want you to focus on the operations of your business and ask yourself the question, if I were to step out, would my business continue to run without me? If the answer is no, then let us help you and get into AMP.